Loneliness is rising amongst men, and when you are an Indian man, loneliness could be really challenging to deal with.
At the moment, I'm in the place where I'm never alone, but I'm always lonely.
Being a parent of two small children means that you don't have a lot of time.
Frankly speaking, Srishti, in a long while I have not found someone who I can confide in.
Research says 45% of Indian men experience loneliness. Another research says that 75% of married Indian men depend on their wife for any social interaction and have no long-term friendships. So I got into researching and found 5 research-proven ways that I can use in my own life and possibly you can use in your life to deal with your loneliness and the lazy man way of dealing with loneliness. And in an attempt to do so, I got in touch with some of my friends and I got their view on loneliness as well. But before we get into the solution, let's first establish what we are dealing with here. What is the problem? When we think of a lonely man, we think of an old man feeding pigeons, like Amrish Puri in DDLJ. A man feeding pigeons, plotting the marriage of his eldest daughter to his best friend's son. But not all lonely men are wrinkled pigeon feeders. 1 out of 4 young men experience loneliness every single day. 74% of Indian men experience loneliness on a week-to-week basis and depend on their wives or spouse or their partners for any social interaction. People with high net worth replace friendship with networks. But are those true friendships? Loneliness can contribute to serious health conditions like heart attack, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and even dementia. And even mental health conditions like depression and anxiety. Men have a high risk of dying due to loneliness than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Beats me. We live in a world where we are surrounded by ways we can get in touch with people. More than 5 billion people in this world use social media as the primary form of communication. But this is provided that social media is being used in the right way. These very apps are the reason for youth to be antisocial and lonely. On one hand, there is a pressure for being social. You use these apps to get in touch with your friends. But then if you don't use them correctly, this can be the reason for creating more distance between friends. Rule number 1. Replacing scrolling with interaction. Some years ago, I noticed that I was scrolling through social media all day, every day, without having any genuine social interactions with anybody. That includes my wife and my friends. I would get bored early, I would snap really quickly, I had really low aptitude for patience. Basically, I was addicted to social media.
So to go and make relationships is so difficult, so challenging, time consuming. After a while, you think, am I fine just doom scrolling on Instagram and living like that and dropping a message here and there? Is that what it is? And you kind of come to a point that that's what you could do.
One thing addiction research has discovered, you can't really leave addictive behavior. You need to replace it with something else. And it's preferred that you replace it with something healthier. And what healthier than sharing a laugh with your friends? It can be as simple as sharing a funny reel on a group of friends that you went to college with. It can be sharing a laugh, it can be anything, as long as it is intentional and it is genuine in nature. Rule number 2, become slightly more honest. There is a pressure on men to pretend to put on a show to be liked. And I don't know about you, I've always found pretending or lying to be more hard work. You have to come up with a backstory, you have to estimate potential questions, and before you know it, you are being interrogated. I find honesty is less hard work. It's the lazy man's true way.
I have not been honest in my relationships, no. I would do things, I have pretended things, I've done things because it would please someone, it would make someone feel better. I have surrounded myself with a certain relationships कि जहाँ पे कुछ चीजें मुझे नहीं ही टॉलरेट करनी चाहिए थी या कुछ चीजें मुझे जिसमें मैं गलत था वो मुझे नहीं करनी चाहिए थी, कुछ चीजों में सही था वो मुझे नहीं करना चाहिए था.
And because of this passive pressure of pretending, men don't really tend to socialize. They think that it's too much of work to socialize and to create friends.
So it's like a double-edged sword. On one hand, you don't have time, even if you wanted to feel connected to other people because you're constantly with these kids. But on the other hand, you also don't feel like connecting to anybody because you're so exhausted socially, having been almost drained, right, in that sense.
Now, there is a research here that followed people from adolescence to adulthood, found two relationships. One was greater self disclosure led to higher friendship quality, and higher friendship quality led to even more self disclosure. In short, a good friendship is when you can share where the bodies are buried. You're looking for an accomplice, basically. And won't you like to be friends with somebody who likes you for who you are rather than what you were pretending to be?
I can be very introvert on a first meeting, two meetings, third meeting, fourth पे बकचोदी निकलेगी. It'll come out.
Rule number 3. Stop looking for a best friend. This is a mistake we all make. We head into a relationship thinking that this person is going to be my best friend. Friendship is hard work. It requires time, it requires commitment, it requires showing up, and it's slow. So don't push yourself so hard looking for a best friend. Instead, start by doing things that you like. Join a community club, join a yoga group, join a photography club, join a running club, join a cloud watching club. Yes, that is a real group.
I have opened myself to you, you have opened myself to me, and we know that conversation is going to be sitting between us, and it's not going to go become a conversation ya kuch wo. And you start that trust factor to say, you know what, Shrishti knows everything about me, he helps me, I can trust him. And once that trust is established, it only gets stronger and stronger. And most of the time where the friendships don't go is either when you have trusted someone with some information, with money, with power, and that trust has been broken and your relationship has gone pear-shaped.
Psychologist Brett Lawson reviewed decades of friendship research and concluded similarities is central to both making and keeping friends because it fosters compatibility and makes interaction more rewarding. Being in the same room as others who share the same interest as you keeps the door open for genuine human interaction. And that's what we are looking for. Rule number 4. Build a friendship portfolio. You will never make one friend that shares all your interests and all the interests that you might develop in the future. And honestly speaking, you might not share all the interests that your friends have. This is a point that I struggle with myself, but I know enough that this advice is true. How many friends do you think is needed to stop feeling lonely?
The reason is two for me. You need a sensible friend and a completely pagal friend. That helps you to keep the balance.
Your friendship needs to be diversified. A friend who is on a journey for a 3-year sobriety probably is not a good friend to go out drinking with, but he might be a good friend to go to the gym with. You need friends that match your interest. A friend to go out for movies with, a friend to talk to, a friend to work out with. And honestly, you need to be open-minded as well. Being judgmental as to who can work with you or share your interests has never done any good. And I'm guessing it might not lead to a long-lasting friendship as well. Rule number 5. Schedule meeting with your friends. I hate surprises, unless it is a good one. And going on an impromptu social session with my friends is generally a no for me. And if you're anything like me, this might help you. Schedule a meeting with your friends. Let's schedule one call a month regularly so that we can catch up and share.
कर सकते हैं, बिल्कुल. I would love that.
Just because I have to
Yes.
record this, hence we are doing this on Zoom. But we should all at least make an attempt that all boys can get together and have a bit of a chill session. Maybe
Yeah,
go to the gym,
absolutely.
play basketball or go
Play
for
something, do
badminton.
some activity. Yes, do some
Yeah.
activity where you're outside that zone of your
Yeah.
operating.
There is substantial body of research shows that scheduling a behavior increases likelihood that people will follow through their commitment. The mechanism is often explained through concepts such as implementation intention, time blocking, and commitment devices. So have it in your calendar because PlayStation session moves for no one. And going with the flow is too much hard work. It helps if you've got a planned activity with your friend like going to the gym, going for a walk, or going for the movies, or just grabbing a cup of coffee. But scheduling something regular will help keep your friendship alive and will keep your social interactions going. Now, the older I get, I realize that almost everything in life is connected to people. The memories we keep, the good times, the bad times, the laughs, everything we do is connected to people and connected to any sort of genuine connection we have with human beings. And maybe that's why Harvard researchers for 80 years studied happiness to come to the conclusion that a good life is built with other people. Not around them, not despite them, but with them. Which means loneliness isn't something that you can solve by being successful, not by being richer or busier. You can solve it by participating, by showing up again and again and again, even when you don't feel like it, and especially when you don't feel like it. Hey, if you like this video, consider subscribing to this channel. I'll try to make more videos like this that focuses on mental health, well-being for Indian men. And drop in a comment. I would love to know, what do you think about loneliness and how can Indian men do more to deal with loneliness? Until then, I'll see you in the next one.